Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Week Ahead, or maybe it should have been The Week Behind, since we didn't get we were so busy, and it sort of speaks to the craziness of the session, we did not get an update in. So we're going to try and do this week and last week. I'm going to let Ben and Linda kick it off first.
So go ahead, Linda, you're busy.
Okay, taxation. There's a number of bills that the Taxation Committee is holding work sessions and public hearings on all week. These include bills on local option taxes, tax expenditures, a number of different, bills, municipal development districts, you name it, the topics are there. But they're also, appropriations is also starting work sessions this week on Tuesday and Friday on the biennial budget. So it's kind of open work sessions, so they could take up anything, literally tax reform or any of the different proposals that are in the budget. So it is going to be a very busy week this week. And I'm testifying, I think, on 6 bills alone on Thursday and 2 on Wednesday. So I've got my hands full.
So similarly, natural resources is going to be a busy week this week. We're dealing with mining once again. There are 2 full work session days on mining, including today. They get started first thing this morning. Also Wednesday in the Natural Resources Committee is Solid Waste Day. We always deal with this issue during legislative session. They'll be dealing with 3 public hearings on solid waste issues, dealing with the fees associated with solid waste or the capacity of our solid waste capacity here in the state of Maine. Also in education, it's important to note there's a lot of bills dealing with standardized testing and proficiency-based education, which is very important to developing our workforce of the future. There's a big push out there to repeal some of the good work that we've done in the past legislative sessions, so we'll be active on that. That's on Tuesday. And also on Tuesday, there's a couple bills dealing with wind power development here in the state of Maine. They're not in the Energy and Utilities Committee as they traditionally are. This year they're in the Agriculture Committee dealing with some of the scenic views and things like that. So it's going to be another busy week with environment, and natural resource, and education issues this week. So, Peter.
This week is busy in Elkred, but really it was last week that they had their hands full. They had bills dealing with leave, workplace leave, expansion of FMLA, and a bill that would require employers with more than 100 employees to report the salary of the highest paid and the lowest paid individual who works for the company. They're fairly contentious bills and work sessions. There was also a bill, as many people know, dealing with the elimination of the requirement for a concealed weapons permit. Ordinarily, that's not an issue that the state chamber would wade into, but there is a law in place which allows an employee, over the objections of the employer, to bring their handgun to work, keep it locked in their vehicle. The requirement for that is that they possess a concealed weapons permit. So the question becomes, if you eliminate the concealed weapons permit requirement, what is the status of the ability of an employee to bring their handgun to work despite an employer's no weapons policy that they may have in place? It was a long public hearing in the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. They are holding a work session on Friday. They've asked me to be there. I was actually the 60th of the 60 witnesses to testify on the committee that day, so it was a long day. This is a very busy time. Obviously, we've talked about this. They are going into school vacation week next week, and ordinarily the legislature would be taking the week off. But because so many committees are behind, they're not in a position to do that. And they're a session both Tuesday and Thursday of next week. So it's a very unusual circumstance. It will be interesting to see how much work they really get done next week, because despite the admonition by leadership not to take time off over a school vacation week, many often do. So
they were supposed to have 60% of the bills reported out last week, and
only
I know in tax was like 20%.
Right, only a few committees made their target, so
the
they are behind,
they're very behind,
and they have to play catch up. And there's been threats of Saturday work sessions, so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see where we end up. But thank you for joining us for this week's edition of The Week Ahead, and we'll talk to you next week.
Stay classy, Maine.